Hi, this is Becky Nunn of Nunn Design, and I'm a guest designer doing this fantastic project here at Beadaholique. What you'll need for this project are some crystal clay, some channel beads, and some seed beads. And this is an idea of what we will be doing with this simple technique of using the seed beads while they're on the string, embedded in the crystal clay, and then pulling the string out so that you can create pieces that look like this. For the first part of this project, we're going to want to follow the manufacturer's instructions and put the gloves on. And then you're going to want to pinch off equal size balls of both the colorant, which is typically the color like this, and then the resin is the more beige color. And when it's in this raw form, this is when you want to use your gloves. You want to mix them fully until there is no longer any marbling. And sometimes it can be really sticky and stick on the gloves. But this one is not too bad. Once it's activated and these two parts are mixed together, you have 90 to 120 minutes to work with the clay while it's still malleable and nice and soft. But after that, it starts to harden and it is like cement. So I often have a wet wipe right by my workstation because I don't want to get any of the crystal clay onto my findings on the side edges or anywhere I don't want it to be. Once it's all mixed together, it'll look something like this and it won't be marbled. Once your clay is mixed, you're going to want to make it into a nice round ball. I'm also just double checking to see if it's marbled at all, and it looks good. And then I'm going to snake it out into a rope about that long. Then you're just going to go ahead and start to wrap it around the core of the bead. And I'm just pushing it down with my finger and I'm kind of just scooching it forward like this and then side action. And that's what's making the clay move to the different edges. On this particular channel bead, it has this little groove in there, which looks awfully nice, but sometimes it's a pain if you get some clay in there. So I'm just kind of careful that I'm not bringing my clay too far over and getting it caught inside of there. And if it did, it's no big deal. You can get it out just by picking it out with a head pin, but heck, if you can know an extra little tip and not have to do more work later on, why not? So as you saw, I got to the end there and I just pinched off my excess little bit, and I'm just patting it together to make it not have a seam right there. It won't matter much because we're going to cover it all with the seed beads in a little bit, but at least we know it was all nice and tidy underneath. You might want to check to see you don't have any bulges, like you have more clay on one side than the other. And if you do have a bulge, and I do have one right there, if you want to just go ahead and live with it, that's fine. But if you don't want to live with it, you can pinch off a little excess of that and then just continue to pat it down until it's nice and smooth. And now that we've mixed this extra clay, you might want to check out the video on what to do with extra crystal clay, because there's lots of fun projects you can do with your excess clay before it starts to harden and you don't waste a little bit of it. So now that I have my channel bead all nice and round, see what I was talking about? You want to make sure you use your wet wipe to get that excess off, because once it's on there, it's on there. And sometimes I'll even have some on my fingers, and so it's getting on there, so I'll wipe my fingers off too. Now, using your strand of seed beads, and this is already on the string like this, you start to wrap it around the channel bead. So I'm just lightly pressing it into the channel bead, and then I'm going to continue to feed it along. If they start to get a little bit cattywamped, even that adds to a little bit of the character. So don't worry too much about having it be just right. once you start to get to the other edge, about right there, you can see that you have a meet right where it comes together. You're going to press down on that one and then start to pull gently. And let's see how we do here. You start to pull, see how that string is coming out? We had one little guy pop off, don't worry, we'll get him back on there. But the rest of them we can just go ahead and gently press it down inside. And then once you feel that that one looks good, and it's all in a row. I don't know where that one came out. Oh, it might have been at the end of the string, or oops, I just think I lost another one, but that looks pretty good. You can still go back in and adjust them using your fingernails to put them into place. And then you're going to want to take your next round. I've not done very many with the smaller size seed beads. The samples that I showed you earlier showed larger seed beads. So this one, I'm not sure how it's going to fit on there, but you can go ahead and mix up the strands. Like if you have some seed beads in your stash that are larger sizes than other, you can mix them up and do different examples. And I'm making sure that my seed beads are pressed all the way up on that strand. This little guy needs to come up to the surface on the top part, so I can easily pull it out once I get those seed beads on there. And now there's my end. And before I pull that string out, I'm going to make sure that I have them somewhat down inside of there. So I'm just kind of going around and making sure that they're kind of lined up, and I'm pressing them slightly down into. Alright, and now I'm ready to pull, and you have to make this special noise. That's the magic string noise. And then you just keep on patting them down and keep going. Alright, and then once you have all of the different strands, you just want to keep on using your fingers to kind of sculpt it down and into place. And sometimes your beads might turn on their side. That looks kind of cool in itself. This takes a little bit of time and a little bit of practice, but it is just so much fun and so easy. As you can imagine, this would have taken forever if we were embedding each of these individually, so I'm really into any kind of project that looks like it took me forever, but it did not. Then once I'm just going around and slightly pressing them down nice and into the clay, you're going to take your wet wipe and then wipe over the surface of it just to make sure that you don't have any clay on the outside of those beads. There's your fun little bead core. So this is the part of the video that is the Becky Nunn Dog and Pony show, where I show you some of the examples of how I have used that seed bead technique on other different projects. So on this one right here, I just used it all the way around the outside edge. So I patted down the crystal clay into the base of the bezel, and then I used those seed beads on the strand and just pulled it out. And then I just so happened to have a bezel that fit perfectly right inside of there. Down here, I did pull them off of the strand and embedded them individually like you would with any kind of crystal. These, they were on the strand, and I want to point out, this is what it looks like when you don't clean it up off of your piece. Sometimes it gets on there and it's really, really hard to get off. So as you see, that one wasn't so hard, but you can pick it off once it gets hardened. And then over here, I did the same thing as down here. I took it off of the strand because it was an oval shape and I wanted it to go elongated, and that was fairly fast to put it right inside the crystal clay. So again, this is Becky Nunn with Beadaholique, and I hope you enjoyed seeing all of these fun examples of how you can use seed beads and beads on a string with the crystal clay.